Oma was a 34-year-old woman living in Lagos. One evening, she returned from work, exhausted. It was past 6 p.m. She couldn't rest. She needed to make soup so she and her daughter would eat before retiring for the night. Without wasting time, she began to prepare ingredients for the soup. On her way home, she had stopped by the roadside market and bought meat, egusi, stockfish, pepper, vegetables, and other ingredients for the soup. "Oh, how hungry I am! I believe this soup will last for 3 days. I'll not need to bother myself the rest of this week," Oma said with satisfaction. "Yes," her daughter, 10-year-old Chika, replied with a nod. "Boil some water in the kettle so we can wash the stockfish very well while I wash the meat," Oma told her. "Yes, Mom," Chika, who was 10 years old, replied eagerly. She set a kettle of water on the fire while Oma began to wash the big pieces of meat. Mother and daughter cooked. They had cooked the soup halfway when Chika noticed the ebbing fire. "Mom, it's like our gas has finished," she exclaimed. "What? Oh no!" Oma groaned, bending low to look at the gas fire. Indeed, the fire was now weak and would definitely not be strong enough to finish making the soup. "What are we going to do now?" Chika asked worriedly. Let me think, Oma said, tapping her forehead seriously. "All gas stations are closed right now. We have to finish cooking this soup." "Yes, Mom," Chika said, letting out a deep breath. "Oh, I have to ask our neighbor Amaka for help. Maybe she can let us her gas," Oma said hopefully. "It's a good idea," her daughter agreed. "Okay, let me go now and talk to her," Oma said, heading for the back door. Few minutes later, Oma stood at the back door of her neighbor called Amaka. She was a mother of 3 little kids. She knocked on the door gently. The door opened few minutes later. Amaka, a woman in her late 30s, smiles at Oma. "Ah, Oma, what brings you to my door?" "My sister, good evening," Oma greeted with a smile. "Good evening, dear," Amaka replied. "Please, I ran out of cooking gas and my soup is half done. If you have enough gas, please can I bring my soup to your kitchen and finish cooking?" Amaka smiled at her broadly. "I guess it won't take much time?" "No, highest 30 minutes, Oma assured her. "Okay, go, bring your soup," Amaka told her. "I'll be right back. Thank you so much," Oma gushed happily. She returned to her flat. Oya, carry the soup pot. We're going to Amaka's house. She gave me permission," she told her daughter hurriedly. Without wasting a second, Chika carried the pot of soup and followed her mother out of their flat. All that was needed was for the soup to boil very well and blend perfectly. Amaka received them with smiles. She lit her gas cooker and Oma placed her soup pot on the fire. Soon the soup was boiling and the aroma filled the whole house. "Let's wait at the balcony while the soup boils," Oma told her daughter, feeling suddenly hot. "Okay, Mom." Oma and her daughter moved out of the kitchen and stood at the balcony overlooking the backyard. Meanwhile, Amaka paced the living room, deeply in thought. "Mom, I'm hungry," one of her kids whined. I know. Wait some time," she told them. After some minutes, Oma and her daughter returned to the kitchen. "Oh yeah, the soup must be done by now," Oma breathed gladly. Carefully, she opened the pot, but the brightness of her face dimmed. "Chika? Mom? Come closer. Do you notice anything in this soup?" Oma's eyes were as large as saucers. "Mom," Chika whispered audibly, "the soup has reduced." Mother and daughter stared at each other in shock. "Did she—" Chika's voice trailed off. Oma turned the soup once and staggered back, staring at Chika. "Amaka has taken part of the soup," Oma said, covering her mouth with her palm, her eyes darting from one side to the other. "What do we do?" Chika whispered. "Madam Amaka!" Oma yelled, her chest rising and falling in quick succession. "Madam Amaka!" Amaka came into the kitchen looking puzzled. "What happened? Why are you yelling my name like that?" "This soup has reduced," Oma stated blandly. Amaka frowned, rolling her eyes in a confused manner. "What do you mean?" "Don't play dumb with me, madam. I know the quantity of my soup and the number of meat I used." "Good heavens!" Oma yelled. Chika stared at Amaka shocked, clasping her chest. You must be mistaken. Is this how you will repay my kindness to you?" Amaka sounded offended. "Look at this woman. Do I look like your fool?" Oma asked, looking at her daughter. her eyes spitting fire. She turned to Amaka again. "Bring out that soup now, else the whole yard will hear this," she told her, banging her hand on the table. Amaka's countenance changed and she began to tremble. "Mummy Chica, please, don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody," she pleaded. "Bring out the soup, bring out the soup," Oma told her impatiently. "My children are hungry and I don't have soup in the house," Amaka continued in a trembling voice. "You should have told me. You should have told me. Didn't I take permission from you before coming here?" Amaka went to her kitchen cupboard and opened one of the drawers. She pulled out a small pot and looked at them guiltily. Oma took the pot from her and opened it. She and her daughter yelled, look at what big quantity she took. I'm sorry. Madam Amaka, Madam Amaka, Madam Amaka, how many times did I call you?" Oma asked her with a heavy frown. 3 times, Oma, 3 times. Look at me very well. Don't try this rubbish with me ever again. There's hunger in the land, but you don't have to degrade yourself like this. I wouldn't have left here without offering you some soup. Even if I didn't, you should have asked me. I'll understand." Amaka kept nodding and pleading. Oma sighed and turned to her daughter. "Carry the pot, let's go. She just spoiled her kindness," Oma told her daughter. Oma carried the soup pot, following her mother in quick steps. Amaka stood there holding her small soup pot. "Aish, I didn't know she would notice. I hope this news doesn't spread the whole place. Let me feed my children," Amaka said with a shrug, moving towards the gas cooker. When Oma and her daughter returned to their house, they stared at each other. "That woman is crazy. Real crazy," Oma breathed. "She took almost half of the soup." Chica laughed hard, clasping her cheeks with her palms. Oma shook her head, moving to start dishing their dinner. Have you had this sort of experience before or something similar? Tell us in the comments. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel. It will encourage us to bring you more interesting stories. See you in the next video and stay safe.